pleasant Father's Day to you. Happy Father's Day to all that applies, including my partner, Rick Lee. Rick, happy Father's Day.
Thank you very much.
I'm Jim Byers. Thanks for joining us today here at Lone Star Park. We are fast on the main track. We're off the turf. About a month of intermittent pounding rain has finally taken its toll. So we are off the turf for today, as we were for two-thirds of the turf races yesterday. 87 degrees. Overall, a very nice day. We hope that you're enjoying your Sunday. And behind us in the paddock, I don't know if you can see them. I don't think you can on the shot. Bright yellow umbrellas. That means it's a premium seating day in the paddock. You get umbrella tables, padded seats, a mutual teller exclusive to your area. Great view of the horses getting dressed for the races, and the video board here where you can watch the action, and food and drink all-inclusives in your area. So check that out, and if you pay for admission, that goes toward the cost of the premium seats. So the paddock premium is in effect today. Well, we do have a few scratches out of the off-turf races. The 10th race largely, but not completely unaffected. Let's get right on to the action. Let's start with the first race. It is a race for older horses. All older horses drew into it. It was scratched down to a field of 5 with the defection of number 5, Classic Rick. $5,000 claimers and no superfecta wager on the first.
Yeah, the 4, Good Lovin'. A lot, whether you like him or don't, a lot depends on what you thought of the last race. His last race here on May 2nd, 5,000 levels, same level as today's race, and he was dominant. I mean, he cruised to the lead in pretty honest fractions, drew off to win by nearly 6. You know, he did it pretty effortlessly.
Yes.
That was his first start here at Lone Star Park as well. Did he like the track? Obviously so. You know, the question is, he hadn't raced in a few months, and is he going to, what they call in racing, bounce off that race? He may be able to run a little bit slower and still defeat this field, but that was a terrific race. Has very much high percentage connections. If you look at his record at the distance, he's won 5 of 8 races, so, you know, terrific form. But there are some big class droppers like Take Action, I think, that could be, you know, major players in here.
Yeah. Yeah, the drop for Take Action should help a lot. I mean, I have him rated 3rd. You have him 2nd in here. He's coming out of a ratings handicap. And his performances twice this meet, they haven't been poor. They haven't been great either, but the drop should really help him. Mm-hmm. And, you know, he knows the way around. He's won 8 of 24. I mean, that's a pretty admirable record. A lot of old guys that know their way around the racetrack. Sweet River Baines, a 15-time winner. He's a dozen years old. Mm-hmm. I would think this is the last year that they would allow a 12-year-old to run. I don't know the rules on that. Some places don't even like 10-year-olds racing. Right. But I don't really see why an 11 or 12-year-old can't run if they still have it in them. And Sweet River Baines has won a couple already this year. But I'm with Good Lovin' as well. I was impressed with the comeback. I'm glad they've taken a little bit of time. You know, I worry more about a bounce when they come back off a layoff and run well, and then and a week or two later they're right back in the entries. This horse had a little time to recover, and like you said, it was an effortless type of race. I mean, he was pressed for a little bit, then just drew off. It was very handy in that.
Yeah, race. I will say on the negative side, because you've got to be a realist, he ran, what was that, 7 weeks ago? May, June.
Yeah, about.
And the 2 subsequent workouts are very slow, which isn't Justin Evans' type. So
yeah, for a barn that works him fast.
And he didn't move him up in class after a win like that either.
Yeah.
So there's reasons to be a little bit concerned if the price is too short. I do want to mention City of Clouds because every horse in this field but him is a front runner. They don't have to have the lead necessarily, but they all like to be very close to the lead but City of Clouds. So if high-percentage trainer, you know, Ramirez Rodriguez has his horse ready, you know, he could come flying late.
Giovanni Franco will ride City of Clouds, and it's funny you mention that because in my notes I wrote only closer ?
Yeah, there you go.
Because it's
true. Yeah.
And he is a bona fide closer. I mean, he closes every out. He doesn't always get there, but on to the second. Scratch number 6, Mare's Music out of race 2. It is also a no superfecta race because of the 5-horse field. Fillies and mares 3 and up. These are non-winners of 2 in Allowance Company.
Yeah, I mean, Irish Punch, he was so good last time out. First of all, she's only run 4 times, and she's shown some promise in each of those races. 2 third-place finishes at Fairgrounds. Do note, in this region, Fairgrounds, Oaklawn, if you're hitting the board at those 2 venues, you're showing a lot of promise. Went to Houston on April 4th and just totally devastated a maiden special weight field by 12. That's the lowest priced winner. I think I don't know if you can get lower than that. I just circled it 0.05. I'm like, my goodness, paid $210, I guess, right? Yeah, paid next to nothing. So, the point is, though, must not have beat a whole lot in there, though there were, a next out winner, Dig Baby Dig, did win. Looking back at the Beyer figure, too, because I work for Beyer, I went back, and it looks like horses coming out of that race are running several points faster than they ran in that race. Sometimes when you get beat soundly, though, you will improve in your next start. But I'm just thinking that 62 could easily be more like the 67 this horse filly ran at Fairgrounds. And Steve does work his horses on the slower side, and I like the 101 and 349 and 1. I mean, for an Asmussen, that's getting around there.
Yeah.
So I think Irish Punch is returning here fresh, good early speed, and, it's going to be difficult to beat, I would think.
I agree. I went back and rewatched that race just because you don't see that many 12 and a quarter length wins, and then it was 10 3/4 back to the third place horse. So I thought I got to watch this. I mean, she was minimally asked by Stuart Elliott. I mean, he just did what he had to do. He had that lead from the get-go, and then she drew off, with minimal urging, which is a really good sign. Even if you're just running against air, even if you look at it like maybe a glorified 6-furlong work with a gallop out,
right?
Still pretty impressive. So, and the rest of this field, I mean, there's others that could run well in here. Mm-hmm. I mean, My Conquest has run 2 pretty nice races, modest buyers, but at this meet, Gently, an Arkansas bred, very consistent on the buyer scale. I mean, Gently runs pretty much the same figs within reason. Comes out of a turf try at Evangeline, gets back to the dirt. Native Charmer, who's short on the line, a little bit of a money burner, but could go better here after a little layoff, and has run some numbers that are very good.
Yeah, very good.
So
Native Charmer ran great, at Zia and Sunlight. This is interesting because Justin Evans is a great trainer, but he hasn't got this filly to run. Dallas Barton had her running great. Todd Fincher had her running great. This is Justin, trained her earlier, now trains her now, and she just has not run her best races for him. But, again, he's one of the best trainers in the area, so nothing against him. Yeah. It's just he hasn't found the key yet with this filly, but she's, with her best race from Zia Park, she could win this race.
Yeah, for sure. On to race 3. Scratch the 1, Amargoso. That leaves a field of 6. We are going 6.5 in this race. Texas bred maiden claimers for 12.5. Before we talk about, you're going to talk about Go Lang. Mm-hmm. That's got to be Bart Lang, our racing director, his father and grandfather, both named Chick Lang, legends of Maryland racing. This horse comes from a Maryland racing background. Go Lang has got to be named after our director of racing's family, don't you think?
Yeah, and how dare they name one before they name one after you or I?
Well, yeah, we're not that big in Maryland, though, I got to say. But this is a Texas bred. They could say Go Lee.
That's true.
Because you've been quite a legend in this region since the track
opened. Haven't I, though?
I think so.
I like Go Lang in here. It's interesting, we talked about trainers in the previous race. 2 previous trainers couldn't get this horse to run a jump. Moves to Ernesto Torres stable. The workout times all of a sudden get good. The horse has been way more competitive, and off consecutive 4th place finishes against better, and now dropping to the absolute bottom. These are bottom level state-bred maiden claimers. Renee Diaz gets the return call on here. In a race where you don't have a lot to go on, a lot of good form to go on, I should say. I'm taking Go Lang over Rowdy American, who is taking a huge drop in class. We just don't know how he's going to handle the main track.
Yeah, I went ahead and took Rowdy American. I don't love it. There's several chalky picks of mine today that I'll take the win if they win, and I think they're the best in there, but I'm not super encouraged about them. And this is one where, to me, it was a tough call. First sprint, first dirt try for Rowdy American. We've all seen Kevin Peak win races. He's had very limited starters this year, but he can win races. This horse is going to need the turnaround that a drop in class might bring. And Go Lang started his career at Timonium, a fairgrounds there in Maryland. And when I was a young, fresh out of college, aspiring, before I even had a job in the business, I got in touch with the boss of Timonium because I thought there's a small track in a bigger market. Maybe they'd hire a newcomer. The boss was very nice to me, but they didn't use me.
Yeah, I want to mention the 5 Rockin' James. Strong angle, blinkers off. I like that. First time in a maiden claimer, and I mean a big drop in class from open maiden specials. Yeah. And look at the workouts. I mean, 101 and 3 for a bottom-level state-bred maiden claimer. That's a nice workout. And Vaughn Mallory, may have himself I think it'd be his first win of the meet, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, anyway, Rockin' James is an interesting horse that should be a little better price. Yeah. Hasn't sprinted before. All of his races, even the 6.5 furlong race, were around 2 turns. But I assume he'll make one big run at this field.
Yeah. And it's a small field, so your closers, if they're good enough, they should just be able to circle around and not have to worry about getting around as many. On to the 4th. This race switched off the turf, 1 mile on the main track. Scratch number 3, King Arthur Ridge. Adger, the 8, gets in. This is a starter allowance for Texas breds who've started for 12.5 or less the last 2 years.
Yeah, my top choice is staying the same, the 5 Running Point for Tristan Ashford, having a really good meeting. This horse had been primarily running its best on turf, admittedly. Last time out, they tried the main track, but they went into really steep company, an open optional claiming race. So this horse was in against much better than he's in with today. And he ran okay, forwardly placed, then finishes 4th. His workout times at Lone Star Park in the mornings have been quite good. So he's obviously handling the surface here. But the main thing is he's going to be forwardly placed. He's taken a very big drop in class for winning connection. So I'm taking Running Point, turf, or the main track.
I was a little scared off of Running Point. I've got him second. I think he has a big shot in here. I think there's not a lot of other speed in here, in my opinion. I just wasn't impressed with that last race all that much. I know it was. He had been running some really nice races prior to that. You can't run your best every time. I have a lot of respect for him based on some of his runs earlier in this meet. I'm going to try Adger, though. He comes off a race opening weekend, hasn't been out since, does have a work that does not appear in your program on June 16th, a half mile and 49 flat. Just kind of a maintenance work. I think Mindy Willis is good at bringing him back off short layoffs. This horse won on sloppy going, but likes the dirt. I'm just going to go ahead and go with him on a little bit of freshness angle. Running Point's been running his guts out and doing it well. And I think he obviously has a big chance.
And Adger was scratched last night.
Yes.
Out of a race, and I know why. I mean, Awesome Road and Spark. The horse that went heavily favored for Kevin Martin.
High Spark.
Yeah, my point is this horse was entered way over his head last night. And, Mindy Willis, pretty sharp. She scratches out of that one and goes into a state-bred starter allowance. So, wise move, as far as that goes.
Yeah, that's an interesting race. I think those two kind of lead the way. Painted Lad has a little touch of speed and has a good record on the dirt. I mean, this race originally scheduled for the turf, but to me, Painted Lad, has acquitted himself well on dry dirt. He doesn't seem to like wet dirt, but he's won. I don't know much about the trainer, but the horse himself might be working his way into a good one.
Yeah, and Bandier Bling even has never won on turf. The numbers look competitive on turf, the Buyers, but it's 4-time winner on dirt, and so you get to save all the ground.
Yeah. Race 5. $5,000 condition claimers, Texas breds. These are non-winners of 4 or non-winners of 2 races in the last year. No changes in this one.
Yeah, he's a cool cat, and Red Summerbird, they've been running against each other on a pretty regular basis, you could say. I went with Red Summerbird in this particular case, dropping down after some solid efforts. Didn't break as sharply. Usually is way more forwardly placed than he was on May 2nd in that last race. So I like the recent works, too, for Mindy Willis. This horse's works previous to the last race weren't near as upbeat. 101 and 2, and then a really snappy work last weekend in 47 and 1. When I saw that 47 and 1, I was leaning toward he's a cool cat, but I decided off that really sharp work last weekend, maybe Red Summerbird might be a little sharper today. It's always about what they're going to do today, not what they did 3 weeks ago. This is a predictive game we're at, and so I'm going to take Red Summerbird, not with a lot of confidence, but that's the choice.
Yeah, I don't have anything really to add to that. I feel the same way. I mean, I like the fact he's had a little time off. He's a cool cat. I mean, this will be his 6th start of the meet. Not saying he's not fit enough or able. A little overmatched last time, but some of his races have been good. It's just, boy, and other than that, though, it takes a little imagination to really get too excited about the others, but strange things can happen.
Yeah, Carbon Striker would have beat this field senselessly a couple years ago. He's 10-time winner, but boy, he's been running against Red Summerbird, and he's a cool cat this year, and just has not been himself. So if you're looking at his career record, thinking, oh, he has a good chance to win, well, he'll have to turn it around a little bit today.
For sure. We have word of a scratch, which we did not have before we came down. And, Rick, you will want to know that the 10-4 Leah's First is now out.
Okay.
So once you talk about the 6th race, and then I'll make my comments on this one, then maybe you can type in for Helen your selections in race 10 with Leah's First out of there.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, race number 6. I'm going for a Justin Evans Exacta here. I don't know how you're going to see it. Race 6 is a filly optional claimer, 3-year-old fillies. You can be in for $75,000, or you can be a non-winner of 3. Scratch the 3 from the top rope. Scratch the 5 ready to dial. And you're going with Cindy Loper in this 6th race, right?
Yeah, I'm a Bravo fan. I love how he trains horses in the morning. He does a lot of good work. Cindy Loper, you got to remember, her buyer figures are from her 2-year-old campaign. Obviously, here we are in June of her 3-year-old season, so, she should be a little bigger, a little stronger, a little faster. And she was really good as a 2-year-old. Won her debut at Lone Star Park last June 29th by 4 lengths. They went right into, when Remington opened, went right into the Oklahoma Lassie and won by nearly 5 lengths. And then they tried to route a ground, by they meaning the Bravo stable, and entered a 2-turn stake for Oklahoma Breds and ran 2nd. So all 3 of her races as a juvenile were really good. She's got a long series of workouts. None of them are fast. So, of course, when I see that, I looked up her career works, and I put never works fast. So even though she was really good 2-year-old, she never worked those 59s a minutes, 48 and 2s. They all look like the work she's showing today. So I feel like if she's bigger, stronger, and faster as a 3-year-old, which I fully suspect, then her buyer figure should jump into the area where Whiskey High and Leslie Mojo and these others are running today. Yeah. So I think she'll be value, and this is my value horse of the day.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for her. One note about her that we will be announcing when we do the changes, but race 6, number 6, Cindy Loper, is back on Lasix today. She raced on it in her debut. Then she didn't run on it in those Oklahoma Classics races, and then in the Slideshow Stakes, those state-bred stakes at Remington, but back on Lasix, so that certainly doesn't hurt.
Yes.
I'm going to go with Whiskey High. here. If you want to type in, if you have your 10th race picks, if you'd like to type in those.
Yeah, if I...
Whiskey High, last time out, very well rated and just blitzed the field. I was really impressed with that. Race before, in late April, lost all chance at the start. It was a really bad start for her and had no chance. But really, with that excuse, wrapped up, she's won her last 4 races where she didn't have a huge excuse. So I'm going to go with Whiskey High. You're not going to get much of a price. I like the idea of going for a better price on Cindy Loper, but Leslie's Mojo is one of these Calhouns. Calhoun, this meet, especially lately, has not started a ton of horses, but when he has, he's been very lethal. Mm-hmm. And as of when this was printed, he was 10 for 55, really good percentage. And, Leslie's Mojo just won an off-the-turf mile, now gets to turn back, ran well sprinting. Mm-hmm. Those are the 2 horses that are more the now horses. You mentioned Cindy Loper coming back off a layoff, was very good last year and could very well be up to this. Spring in Paris, too. I mean, Asmussen's been running her on turf and now puts her in on the dirt after a good win. Mm-hmm. Good race, a lot of contention.
Yep.
I'd be a little worried if Whiskey High, goes off too short. Like if she goes off any shorter than your morning line, I don't think there's much value there, but she has been impressive.
Yeah, she has been.
On to the 7th. Off the turf. 1 mile. On the main track. This race gutted by scratches, but still worth a good look here. Scratch the 1, Sippin' Scotch. The 4, Hamlin. The 6, Aries Honor. The 9, Money Strike. And all 4 of the also eligibles come out of this one. Let's see what we've got. $15,000 non-winners of 3 claimers. I wind up scratching into Bill. I was going to give Hamlin a shot, even off the turf. But I'm scratching into a horse that's won his last 2, but DQ'd from his last start because he got a little bit of the crop left-handed late and drifted out and only beat jacked up by a nose and brushed him and forced him out late.
Yeah, I had Bill picked on top on turf, so I think this is his advantage. Actually, going back to the main track, like Jim just mentioned, easily defeats a non-winners of 2. This is a non-winners of 3 claimer, and comes back at this same level last time out, and was very game to the end. Was disqualified after just surviving, but had a really nice clear lead. It's going to move from a good to a fast track today. Good early speed for a trainer having a, outstanding meeting. Notice these 2 last races have coincided with the addition of blinkers. So Valdez Cabral adds blinkers. You get 2 straight races where you cross the wire first and continues to stay in the condition claiming rank. So, to me, Bill was a decent bet on turf, but I think he's a little bit more solid on the main track.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going with him here. Austin Cruz, your 3rd pick, my 2nd, has lately all been turf. He does have a win on the dirt. The Beyer Figs for him. He's got a good number on synthetic. He won a nice race on the Tapeta surface at Turfway. He wasn't disgraced as a 2-year-old on dirt at Churchill either. So I went with Austin Cruz 2nd. I mean, he merits in here with this group. Ascari is interesting to me because he was a voided claim by the vet in February at Turfway Park in Kentucky. And since then, his fortunes have really kind of gone downhill. Not saying it's because of that, but, I mean, he seems to be sliding downhill a little bit, but he has some races in the past that could win.
And Steve Asmussen and his son Eric were hot yesterday, not only here, but Steve won the Ohio Derby as well yesterday. So it seems like their barn's always hot. You almost don't have to say that they're
pretty
hot.
Much. Oselli was in that race. I didn't see the race. I take it Desert Gate ran. Did he actually
he ran
go?
like 4th.
Winner of the Texas Derby.
It's interesting. I know we don't have a lot of time, but Ocelli's the maiden that ran in the Derby.
Yeah.
He's still a maiden, and I looked at it before coming down here. He's made $870,000, around $870,000, and he's yet to win a race.
Yeah. It's amazing.
He actually took the lead prematurely. Talk about an Arazi move. That's what Ocelli did in the Ohio Derby. Made this nice big move, got to the front, and then got run down late.
Yeah.
So, oh man.
You know, there was another horse recently, or in the recent era, who racked up tremendous money running in classic races and big races as a maiden. Finally broke his maiden in a good race, I think. I forget who it was, but yeah, that you see that nowadays.
Yeah,
you get especially a 3-year-old that finishes well in the Derby and maybe competes in one of the other Triple Crown races. Suddenly they haven't broken their maidens, but they earn their way into the Derby, and all of a sudden they're close to millionaires.
Yeah, I mean, 20% of $1 million beats winning a $40,000 maiden special weight.
Yeah, that's true.
By a long way.
On to race 8. Unlike that earlier race where there was one closer in a field, this is a 7/8 race with a lot of horses that do their best work off the pace. Race 8, $10,000 condition claiming fillies and mares, 7/8 of a mile, non-winners of 2 in the last year or non-winners of 4. Scratch number 6, Kueka.
Yeah, some people think 7/8 of a mile races are for specialists, you know. It's too far for top sprinters. Sometimes it's a little bit short for routers. Fayette Blue, this seems to be in her wheelhouse. She's now an 8-year-old mare. Last time out against slightly better competition, she battled from start to finish. I mean, what a tenacious effort she put forth that day. And it ended up being beaten a nose. It was 3 1/4 lengths back to the third place finisher. I hope that race didn't take too much out of her, because that was
what worries me.
An unbelievably good race. And then her previous race at 7/8 of a mile was here April 19th. Same type of effort, you know, battling for the lead, finishes third. Won the previous start, claiming race at Houston. So, you know, she's a 4-time winner. She's in terrific form, loves the distance. My only concern, and that's why she's not, you know, even shorter price, it's just, man, when horses come off a gut-wrenching win or loss, sometimes it takes a little bit of starch out of them. I hope that's not the case with Fayette Blue.
I gave that a lot of thought, but it was a tough race, but it's been a couple of weeks. I went back to her. Whimsical Air, the horse that beat her, was 6-5 in that race and sat outside of her. They just dueled all the way around. It was like a match race, and Whimsical Air just out-bobbed her at the end. It's not like Fayette Blue was getting tired. Just got out-bobbed at the end. I'm going to stick with her, and let's see. Who do you have as your second pick in this race?
Bull Toro.
Yeah, Bull Toro. Boy, what a clunker on the turf last time, but you know, I had a little bit of traffic trouble, and that was a tough race with Wandering Kirby and them. Fits better at this level. I'm giving a shot to Checkers Song, the 3-horse, only because her only win, or not her only win, but she has a win at this distance. 2 races ago was a pretty good effort. Last time out, overmatched in a first-level allowance. She fits at this level, and I think behind our top pick, if she does run her best race, it's a bit wide open. I'm glad you included Global Holiday as I did. I think she has definitely a shot here off a little bit of a layoff.
Yeah,
I mean, that Blue Bonnet race you can throw out with Moto in there and too much Kiki.
Yeah, she was 16 lengths back. She's usually like 5 lengths back, Global Holiday, because they went 43-4.
Yeah.
Unbelievable race. And now Global Holiday's with her friends today.
Exactly.
I mean, much better company for her.
And the same thing for Bull Toro as well. But hopefully Fayette Blue has another inner. On to the 9th. Race 9, 6 furlongs. All older Texas breds, non-winners of 2 claimers. Let's see. We do not have any scratches out of this one. I went ahead and took He Is Heaven Sent, but he's one of those favorite picks. He could win by 5. I just, there's things about his form I don't love, but I think he's clearly the best in here. And this is a classic example of a race where, you know, I guess you could fish for a long shot, but there's some of these don't have a lot of optimistic recent races to go by.
Yeah, he is 7 cent. I think we'll know early. I mean, this horse opens up at even money. I think we're probably in pretty good hands. Best colt in the race, based on numbers, been running at Oaklawn Park, ran real well last year at Lone Star. Comes in here fresh for one of the best trainers, in this area. So, the concern would be hasn't raced since March, and the only published work, unless there's a newer one added, but
no, I
it's
haven't
pretty
seen
slow.
One.
But I think the tote board will tell us plenty. Fly, Redbird, Fly, ran against Open. Now winners of 2 claimers. This time it's restricted to Texas breds. Did finish 3rd. I also like the fact that this standard sprint distance been in the money in 4 out of 5 races.
Yeah.
And like low-profile connections, that's going to help your price because on paper, you can make a solid case for this gray gelding.
I have too much air in there for second. Cabrera takes the mount. This horse came back from a pretty long layoff last time and showed a little bit of early speed and then stopped. But some of the past races might be okay. Has kind of combined turf and dirt. 0 for 8 on the turf. Actually has fared better on dry dirt than any other surface. And I just couldn't get really solidly behind anybody else. Roman Eagle, you would think would have credentials to win this, but has burned a lot of win money, even money in 6 to 5 in his last 2 starts. He will be ridden by Jose Alvarez, by the way, no Ramon Vasquez. So behind he is 7 cent. I think pretty wide open. One note about Fly, Redbird, Fly, and Golden Pursuit. In the past, they have both been very hard to load. Now, I think in both of their last races, they behaved fine. But just keep that in mind. Both of them have a reputation, at least from me, as tough loaders. 10th race. I'm taking a shot here in the 10th. I say that. Yesterday, my shot got scratched when the race came off the turf. A mile on the dirt here, $25,000 maiden claiming filly. Scratched the 4, Leah's First. I was really in a conundrum about what to do with Leah's First when it came off the turf. But anyway, we don't have to worry about it now. Is 7918 what you're going with?
Yeah, I am. The 7,
Okay.
Street Wisdom. I like this. I had her second on turf. Now, I'm fine. She ran races on turf and made special weight races, which would have made her a real strong contender. And then last time out, she was on the main track, same distance as this one here, and only tired inside the final furlong. I thought that was a pretty good race considering first time in blinkers, and she was in a maiden allowance race. Now we're dropping into a mid-level maiden 25, good route speed. And another thing I liked, because I was trying to decide between Best Beach and Street Wisdom when we came off the turf, and I just thought the route experience might make a difference if you're considering those 2 horses, because Best Beach has a pedigree to go 2 turns, is probably the quickest filly in this whole field. I'm just a little bit concerned since that May 9th race. They didn't come home very fast, and yet she was still losing ground.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit of a concern to me. But, if they can slow down, if you can slow it down in a route race after going 45 and 3, if she can go 48, she may go this far.
Yeah.
So I think Best Beach is the one to catch. Street Wisdom, to me, is the one I give a slight edge to.
Yeah, to me, this is a really wide open test, especially on the dirt. I thought about going with Best Beach, but like you said, I kind of would like to see her negotiate 2 turns. I don't have the ultimate confidence in her stretching out. I'm going to try a filly that moved very early up the backstretch last time. Sueño Mágico, number 1, she was in behind them. A horse named It's Time for Zima went out blazing early in a route race last time. And Sueño Mágico had the rail. It was in like the 3rd flight, if you will, 3-4 lengths off the lead. Up the backstretch, the rail was open, and she and Renee Diaz went up and closed that gap and actually engaged for the lead. You can see she had the lead at the half-mile pole. I'm not saying that wasn't necessary or it was premature. I don't know. I've never ridden a horse. I don't know what they're going through when the horse really grabs the bit and wants to go. But I thought if maybe her run could have been rationed a little bit, or she could have made her run a little later, it would have been, as it was, she wound up getting, almost the blind staggers, and Valesky's Promise passed her late. I think maybe with the experience of having had that race behind her, it still was a decent performance. She beat everybody else. This field's a little questionable about its dirt and mile capabilities. I'm going to try Sueño Mágico and see what happens.
Yeah, Honor God, who I didn't have in my mix originally. I mean, this horse has run second back-to-back races, has a proven two-turn ability, certainly bred to run. That Lemon Drop Kid, you see that on the female line. Good inside post. David Cabrera's won a gazillion races around here. So I'm with you. I think this is a competitive race. I wouldn't take anything under 2-1. That's for sure.
I don't know how much the Byers are going to come into play here, but Wanna Rock, who's a little light on Byers, she could improve after a mile try last time where she ran kind of a distant third behind Honor God and Sherry's Magic. Brunch Spot from Will Rogers 2 races ago cost herself completely with a stumble. Last race wasn't great, but again, maiden specials at Will Rogers. I don't know. I think there's some contention. I even looked at the Arkansas-bred Barb's Girl. A pretty quick blowout on the 15th. I mean, her 2 races have not been up to snuff, but this might be a field where if you're only half up to snuff, you might be able to
get it done. Yeah, that's a good. A lot of top trainers are represented in that maiden claiming race too. Yeah. Really good race.
And there is a carryover in the high five in that last race to $1,819. Just a reminder, behind us, on the other side of the paddock, there's a premium seating day. Paddock Premium is offered today. You might want to treat Dad there. They have seats with padded cushions, umbrellas. There are drink specials and all-inclusive food and drink packages with things like burgers, etc. You have your own mutual teller in that area and a great view of the paddock and the video board in the paddock. So you might want to consider Paddock Premium available today. It's not always available. Rick, you're going to be heading up.
Yep.
I'm going to be heading upstairs. We got 30 minutes to post. Good luck today, and once again, happy Father's Day.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot for looking in, and we will have the changes in the anthem for you shortly. Enjoy your Sunday here at Lone Star Park.
In the event of an emergency, Lone Star Park is dedicated